So this is another Energizer Wi-Fi camera video. I picked up another one of these the other day. I kind of like the first one, the way it works. I wanted to add a second camera so I could see what the multiple features were, see what it looked like with two cameras or multiple cameras hooked up to the app, and see what kind of features I could do. So I'm basically going to set up the second camera, then I'm going to go through the settings on it and show you what it can and can't do. I'm going to go through this kind of quick because I did this the other day, so I've already shown you how to set this up once, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add the second camera. If you have any problems with it, go back to the first video and it'll show you step by step on how to connect the camera. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go to my smart device or whatever you're adding this with, and I'm going to hit my Energizer app. Now once that loads, I'm going to hit the add button at the top right. I'm going to add a device. I'm going to pick cameras or doorbell. It's going to say set up super fast and easy. Hit next. I'm going to plug in the camera. So I've got it plugged in. Once the red light turns on, it'll make a little jingle at you. It'll start flashing. Okay, so there's my little jingle. There's my light flashing. So I'm going to go back to my app now. I'm going to click next. I'm going to check the little box that says indicators flashing and a tone was heard. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to pick my Wi-Fi network. Next. Now when you get to this point, you'll have a barcode pop up. You're actually going to take the camera itself, face the camera towards the barcode, and you'll get a little jingle. Once you get the little jingle, you know you got it. Go back to your app. I'm going to hit I've heard a prompt, and we're going to wait. Once the device has been added, you can change the name of it. I'm just going to leave it indoor camera 2. I'm going to hit done, and there's my second camera. So when I hit the back arrow, I've got all devices. I can hit cameras. I've got indoor camera 1, indoor camera 2 now. So I can click on either camera I want and pull them up, and they pull up pretty quickly. Quality is pretty good on them, and I did a side-by-side comparison to a Ring stick-up camera, which I was quite impressed with it. So what I didn't do on the other camera, or show you on the other camera, is the SD card slot. So I'm going to go ahead and put an SD card in this one so it records some memory or records some stuff, and I'll show you how to get the video off of there. So I'm just going to pop the SD card in. It'll automatically format the SD card so you don't have to do anything to that. I did notice on the other one it recorded for 10 minutes in intervals, so I don't know if we can change that or not, but I'll take a look at it and see. So now I'm back to my app here, so I'm going to click on cameras. I'm going to hit indoor camera 2 since that's the one we just added. If you look around here, there's a pencil at the top right. You can click on that. We can do the device information, which tells you your IP address, your email, all that good stuff. Smart scenes, I'm not sure what that is. I'm assuming that goes with some lighting and stuff you can add into it. There's nothing available for options on just the camera alone. Basic function settings, status indicator, that would show the light on the front or not. You can flip the screen upside down if you've got to mount it somewhere different. And the watermark basically puts the time and date on it. The infrared, you want to turn it to auto probably, so when it gets dark enough it automatically switches over. Advanced detection here, detection notification, so you can turn that on. So it'll actually send you a message on your phone or alert. Sensitivity level, low, medium, and high. Active area, which is kind of nice, so if there's a part of the room that you don't want to capture motion from, you can actually just move this little block around and filter out the areas that you don't want to capture motion in. When you get done, you hit save, and it'll store that area as a area for motion detection. Sound detection is kind of nice because if you're like just trying to keep track of the dogs or something like that, if they bark, same thing, you can adjust sensitivity to low or high, and then it'll actually start recording based off the sound in the room and not necessarily the motion going on in there. If I hit the back arrow, storage settings, shows you your memory card, how much memory card has been used, your local recording, because we're not going to use their cloud. You can pay for their cloud if you want to. Recording mode non-stop or event recording. Event recording will record just things that happen. Non-stop just records all the time. So I'm going to turn my event recording. So if motion or something picks up, it'll only record what's going on in the room instead of just constantly doing 10-minute segments. There's no data timer right now. Detection settings, just at those. Storage settings, cloud storage. If you want to buy their cloud service, you can click on that and you can buy their cloud service through there. Offline notifications. Basically, it says the device stayed offline for over 30 minutes. It will let you know, or not off for now. Feedback, share device. If you want to share this with a spouse or a friend or a family member, whoever, you can share the device with them. And the device updates right there, so no updates are needed. So not a whole lot in the actual app itself to choose from, which is kind of nice. If you want to speak through the camera, you tap that, and then you can speak through the camera. Hit the mute on it. Record the phone, so you can actually record what's happening at the time to your phone, so it'll recording on your smartphone. So if something's going on, you're afraid someone's going to take the camera, you can record it. There's your notification settings again, just gets you back into the motion settings. Playback, if you've got a memory card in here, you can hit playback and it'll show you what we did earlier or however long back you want to go. It's nice because it time stamps it and it date stamps it. You can also take that video and record it to the phone. The only problem with recording the video to the phone, you actually have to watch the video and record it to the phone as it's going versus pulling the SD card out and popping it in the computer, which I'll show you that in a second. That's really about it for the app. So it's pretty easy to set up. It's kind of nice, good quality. If you click on that little square, you get a full screen picture of it. Quality, again, is fairly decent. It's not the best in the world, but for a $16 camera, it's hard to complain about. If we go back to the main, switch it over again, the zoom quality is not super great, but you can tell what was going on in there if you had to. So back over here to my camera, I'm going to take the SD card and I'm going to pop it back out. Once I get the SD card out, I'm going to put it in an SD card reader. So I slide the camera back. So I've got a little SD to USB card, micro card reader. I'm going to pop this in my computer. So once I get that in the computer, mine pops up as an H drive. I'm going to click on that. I'll continue without scanning. Over here is my history. In this folder here, blow it up so you can see it. If you double click on that, kill the light. Oops, wrong button. There's my date. So there's today's date, 7/23. There's the files that are recorded. I can do extra large icons, so that's the only video it recorded because we just turned it on. And there's your video that you pulled up. So it's a lot easier to look at it on the computer versus saving it on the phone, but either way, that's how you pull those up.